When harsh criticism turns into a defamation campaign, Carrie Underwood fights back in a powerful way. Carrie Underwood has always been a symbol of grace and resilience. From her small-town roots in Oklahoma to the heights of stardom, her story has inspired millions. However, what unfolded after her inaugural performance was unexpected. It was supposed to be a night of celebration. Carrie was chosen to perform a heartfelt rendition of the national anthem at the swearing-in ceremony of a newly elected official. The performance was flawless, her voice soaring as always. But her choice to perform set off an avalanche of criticism. By the next morning, headlines were ablaze. Prominent liberal television hosts dissected every aspect of her appearance, from the symbolism in her outfit to perceived political undertones in her song choice. What began as commentary soon escalated into accusations of Carrie promoting divisive ideals. Social media became a battleground, with hashtags trending both in her support and against her. For someone who had always tried to avoid political controversy, this was uncharted territory. The public debate quickly spiraled out of control. Yet amidst the chaos, Carrie stayed silent, watching and preparing. Because Carrie Underwood isn't just a performer, she's a fighter. What she was about to do would shock the nation. This was only the beginning of a story that would challenge everything we think we know about: freedom of speech, media accountability, and the personal cost of public criticism. The night of the performance was a moment where everything seemed to stop. Cameras zoomed in on Carrie Underwood as she stood on the grand stage in Washington, D.C. She wore a simple yet elegant white dress, her signature blonde hair cascading over her shoulders. The air was heavy with anticipation as the first notes of the national anthem rang out. There was no denying the power in her voice. It was a unifying cry that resonated with the crowd. While many applauded her performance, others saw it differently. The criticism started almost immediately. Some claimed her choice of dress carried political symbolism, too stark, too deliberate. Others scrutinized the slight change she made to the arrangement, interpreting it as a veiled critique of the administration. One prominent television host called it a calculated PR stunt, while another accused her of selling out her values for visibility. What truly ignited the firestorm was a widely shared clip from the event. In it, Carrie finished her performance and briefly exchanged a smile and handshake with the newly elected official. For her critics, that was all they needed. They began painting her as someone aligning herself with divisive policies, a narrative that quickly gained traction. Within hours, Twitter exploded with reactions. "How could she?" wrote one critic. "This isn't the Carrie we knew." Others questioned her integrity, suggesting she had abandoned the small town values she often sang about in favor of political opportunism. Fans rallied behind her, flooding social media with messages of support. To them, Carrie was simply doing her job, singing a song, not making a statement. However, her silence in the days following the event left room for speculation to fester. Every news cycle seemed to amplify the outrage, and soon it wasn't just about her performance. It was about her as a person. Yet Carrie didn't flinch. She remained quiet, absorbing every jab and headline, waiting for the perfect moment to make her move. The aftermath was relentless. Every news channel, podcast, and social media feed seemed to dissect Carrie Underwood's performance. The liberal television show hosts at the center of the controversy wasted no time amplifying their critiques. Each segment felt sharper and more personal, fueling the narrative that Carrie's actions were more than just a performance. They were a political statement. One show played clips of her smiling at the newly elected official on a loop, questioning her neutrality. Another host twisted her lyrics to imply she'd always harbored certain political leanings. The accusations grew more far-fetched, with some commentators even questioning her faith, something she had always held close to her identity. The audience wasn't passive either. Online forums and comment sections turned into battlegrounds, with supporters defending her authenticity and critics calling for boycotts of her music. Hashtags like Aber Hatch Carrie and Aber Underwood Exposed trended simultaneously, reflecting the deeply divided public opinion. Amidst all this noise, the liberal hosts didn't stop at commentary. They brought in experts and political commentators to dissect every frame of her performance. Their broadcasts blurred the line between criticism and outright defamation, with insinuations that Carrie's motives were insidious and self-serving. For days, Carrie remained silent. To some, this was a sign of guilt. To others, it was proof of her grace under pressure. Behind the scenes, however, Carrie and her team were documenting every comment and accusation. When she finally spoke, it wasn't through a tweet or a press conference. It was through a defamation lawsuit that would send shockwaves across the entertainment industry. Her legal team filed a defamation lawsuit against the network hosting the liberal television show, naming the prominent hosts individually. The suit alleged that their commentary had crossed the line from criticism into outright falsehoods, tarnishing her reputation and causing emotional and professional harm. The legal document was detailed and damning. It outlined how the hosts' repeated insinuations of her supposed political leanings were baseless and defamatory. It also highlighted their deliberate misrepresentation of her handshake with the official and the way they amplified false narratives to drive ratings. Carrie's team cited specific segments where the hosts questioned her faith and personal values, accusing them of attempting to dismantle her character rather than critique her performance. News of the lawsuit spread rapidly. The same networks that had criticized her now scrambled to cover the story, some toning down their rhetoric as they dissected the legal implications. For Carrie's fans, it was a moment of vindication. Finally, one wrote on social media, she's standing up for herself and showing them they can't just tear people down without consequences. But not everyone was in her corner. Critics claimed the lawsuit was an attack on free speech, with some accusing Carrie of being unable to handle public criticism. The liberal hosts at the center of the lawsuit doubled down, stating that their commentary was protected by the First Amendment. Carrie, however, stayed firm in a brief public statement. She expressed that the lawsuit wasn't about suppressing freedom of speech, but about holding people accountable for crossing ethical boundaries. Words have power, she said, and with that power comes responsibility. As the case moved forward, the court of public opinion remained deeply divided. News anchors and commentators debated whether Carrie's move was a bold stand for accountability or a chilling precedent for media freedom. While the debate raged on outside the courtroom, inside, the stage was set for a legal battle that promised to reveal far more than anyone had anticipated. The courtroom was packed with journalists, fans, and curious spectators when the trial began. The air was thick with anticipation as Carrie Underwood entered, her presence poised yet resolute. This wasn't the stage she was used to, but she carried herself with the same confidence that had propelled her to stardom. The nation was gripped by the case, not just for the drama, but for what it revealed, about the ever-blurring boundaries of media, truth and accountability. Despite the noise, Carrie stayed quiet, appearing calm and focused during her courtroom appearances. She let the evidence speak for itself, refusing to engage in public disputes. Her restraint only added to the intrigue surrounding the trial, leaving everyone guessing how it would end. The final arguments loomed, and as the trial neared its conclusion, the spotlight shifted back to the courtroom, where the fate of this extraordinary battle would soon be decided. The courtroom was silent as the jury returned with their decision. The foreperson stood, the weight of the moment evident in every measured word. "We find in favor of the plaintiff, Carrie Underwood." The words landed like a seismic shift. Carrie's face remained composed, but the subtle rise of her shoulders betrayed the enormous weight she'd been carrying. The verdict was a resounding victory. The jury had determined that the hosts and their network had crossed the line, defaming Carrie with reckless disregard for the truth. Damages were awarded in the millions, not just as compensation, but as a statement about accountability in media practices. The public reaction was swift and loud. Supporters of Carrie celebrated the verdict as a triumph for fairness and integrity. "This isn't about silencing criticism," one fan posted. "It's about drawing a line when that criticism becomes harmful lies." In an emotional statement outside the courthouse, she thanked her fans for standing by her. "This was never about silencing anyone," she said, her voice steady despite the emotion in her eyes. "It was about truth. Words matter, and they have real consequences." She spoke about the toll the trial had taken, not just on her, but on her family. She admitted there were moments she wanted to walk away, but she stayed the course, driven by a belief that the fight was bigger than her. "This wasn't just about clearing my name," she said. "It was about reminding all of us that accountability matters." In the months that followed, the case left a lasting imprint. media organizations reevaluated their editorial practices, cautious of the lines they were now hesitant to cross. For fans and viewers alike, the trial served as a reminder of the humanity behind the headlines, urging a shift toward more thoughtful and ethical discourse. Carrie's battle had been hard fought, but it left an undeniable message: standing up for yourself, even in the face of overwhelming criticism, can lead to meaningful change. Carrie Underwood's journey wasn't just about winning a legal battle. It was about reclaiming dignity and truth in a world that often sacrifices them for the sake of controversy. Her story is a reminder that while public figures are under constant scrutiny, they are still human beings deserving of respect and fairness. This case also underscores a deeper truth for all of us. Words have power, whether spoken on national television or shared in a private conversation. The things we say carry weight. They can build someone up or tear them down. Carrie's fight challenges us to be more thoughtful in how we engage with others, especially in a time when it's easier than ever to spread opinions without considering their impact. It's a call to hold media and ourselves accountable for the narratives we create and consume. As we reflect on Carrie's resilience, let's remember the importance of standing up for what's right, even when the odds feel insurmountable. Whether it's protecting your reputation, defending your values, or seeking justice, staying true to yourself is always worth it. If her story moved you, inspired you, or made you think differently, consider joining the conversation. Subscribe to our channel for more stories that challenge the norm, spark important discussions, and remind us of the power of truth. Let's keep this dialogue going. Together, we can make a difference. Because in the end, it's not just about what happens to Carrie. It's about what we learn from it.